Years ago, when I was a young psychic, I was in my late 20s. I had met psychics that were 85 years old, and I spoke and got along with them. And there's old formulas which I guess got lost in antiquity, and one of them is what they call the elements. And there's a way of numerizing a birth year that somebody's born in. Not the life path, but actually just the year they're born with. And what you do is you reduce the year they're born with to a single digit, and you reduce it by addition. For instance, if they're born in 1975, you go 1 and 9 is 10, and 7 is 17, and 5 is 22. And if you add up 2 plus 2, and you add it up, you reduce them by addition, and you come up with a 4. So that person, their numbers would be a 4, as opposed to any other. So they would be born in a 4 year. If somebody was born in 1972, you go 1 and 9 is 10, and 7 is 17, and 2 is 19, 1 and 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1, it'd be a 1 year. So basically, you're reducing it by addition. So if you take a birth year and you come up with the number 1, they're water. Number 2, they're fire. Number 3, 6, or 9, they're earth. Number 7 and 8, they're wood. And 5 and 4, they're metal. So that it's just numbers 1 through 9. But when you come up with these numbers and you look at the personality involved, there's an actual formula, and it's called the elements. For instance, if somebody's born in a year that adds up to 1 and another person 2, you're talking about one person being fire and the other person being water. And fire and water conflict with each other. They're exact opposite. Water can douse out a fire, and water's a very mutable person. Water, when frozen, becomes ice. When it becomes hot, it becomes steam. Or at a room temperature, it's plain water. But it's a very mutable sign. And a water person is somebody that blows hot and cold. You talk to them now, and they're warm, and you talk to them tomorrow, and they act differently. And you say, well, what happened? They're consistently inconsistent. And fire people are ones that add up to 2 in the year. For instance, 1946 would be 1 and 9 is 10, and 4 is 14, and 6 is 20, 2 and plus 0 is 2, and that would be a fire year. And fire years like to experience life and try many different things. Experience is important to them. And if you add up a year 3, 6, and 9, that's Earth. Now, Earth is limited by trees, which is wood. And it's also in conflict with metal. Metal actually drains the earth. For instance, metal basically gets all the minerals out of the earth, and it feeds off the earth. And trees, wood, limits earth in itself. And they find that wood people are very limiting to them. With water, they nurture water. The earth nurtures water. And with water and wood, wood floats on water. They get along very well. So when you have a water person and a wood person, you find there's a compatibility. And people are also inclined to get along with people of their own makings. Earth gets along with earth. They understand each other. Wood gets along with wood. Fire gets along with fire, and so forth. And of course, there's different energies. Like actually fire controls metal because fire can burn metal. If you put a blacksmith horseshoes, they put it's a fire and they bend a horseshoe, and yet metal is very detrimental to wood. If you have a piece of wood and you have an axe, it chops the wood, and often people who are born in a metal year, disabled people who are born in a wood year, and they find them very abrasive, and things that they say to them, they find very cutting and antagonistic and hurtful. But I'm going to be going over each element, because actually when you add up the year that somebody's born in, and that's all you're working with, and you reduce it by addition to one number, they become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 possibilities. So we'll be going into what this means, and this is as good as a handwriting analysis. This is as good as an astrological reading of character and the way two people would get along. This is a true test of compatibility among different people, and this is the way it goes. So we'll go into it further.